Ready? Let's go. Compliance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey. Adequate notice having been given to all members of the governing body, the local source, and the Westfield Leader, the two newspapers designated to receive such notice. This notice is also posted on the Borough Hall bulletin board. Rise for an invocation from Councilman Lane, please.
Excuse me. Dear Lord, please pray for the men and women of our armed services, for the police and volunteers involved in our fire and rescue squad, and please pray for the health, safety, and happiness of the residents of Mountainside. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mark, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Andre?
Here.
Councilman Lane?
Here.
Councilman Messler?
Here.
Councilman Mortimer?
Here.
Councilman Turner? Here. Councilman Wass?
Here.
First, we have the approval of minutes for the reorganization meeting dated January 4th, 2011. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Wass?
Yes.
Next, we have the approval for the minutes of the work session and executive session meeting on January 11th, 2011.
So moved.
Second.
All the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Wass?
Yes.
Next, we have our resolutions. Let's start with Resolution 27, 2011. Jeff?
This resolution renews the borough's health inspection service contract with the Westfield Regional Board of Health for the 2011 budget year in the amount of $35,084, a decrease of $849 below the 2010 contract for these shared services. So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
All the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Wass?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 28, 2011. Deanna?
This resolution will confirm the appointment of Councilman Robert Messler to the Union County Transportation Advisory Board and Michael Disco Jr. as alternate for a term to expire December 31st, 2011. So moved.
Second.
All the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Wass?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 29, 2011. Glenn?
Having received payment for tax sale certificate 09-00065 on July 7, 2009 for Block 23.A, Lot 1, in the amount $18,275.49, the Borough Tax Collector Jill Good recommends that the amount be refunded to the tax sale lien holder, KCC Promised Lands LLC, Scotch Plains, New Jersey, for the redemption and cancellation of said certificate.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
All the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Wass?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 30, 2011. Bill?
This resolution approves the transfer of certain budgetary funds as allowed by law during the first 3 months of the year within the 2010 municipal budget reserves under NJSA 40A:4-58, as recommended by our CFO, Jill Good.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Wass?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 31, 2011. Deanna?
Yes. This resolution approves temporary appropriations under NJSA 40A:4-19 of the Local Budget Act into the temporary budget for the year 2011 as recommended by the borough's Chief Financial Officer, Jill Good. So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Poll council.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer,
Yes.
Councilman Turner,
yes,
Councilman Was.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 32, 2011. Bob?
Yes, at the recommendation of the borough's acting tax assessor, Michael Frangillo, upon the receipt of the New Jersey Tax Court judgment, this resolution will authorize a tax appeal settlement reducing the assessed value for Block 23C, Lot 19, 1163, Route 22, to $515,000 for the tax year 2008, and reduce the assessed value for 2009 to $400,000. Furthermore, a total refund for both tax years in the amount of $616,000.50 is authorized to be issued to the appropriate authority. So moved.
I'm sorry, that, is that a correction? $16,616.50?
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's for both years combined?
Oh. Yes, it is, Mr. Mayor, both years.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Sorry.
Second.
Poll council.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer,
Yes.
Councilman Turner,
Yes,
Councilman Was.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 33, 2011. Bill?
Also at the recommendation of the borough's acting tax assessor, Michael Frangillo, upon receipt of New Jersey Tax Court judgment, this resolution will authorize a tax appeal settlement by withdrawing the 2009 tax appeal and reducing the 2010 assessed value for Block 10.E, Lot 3.A, 1429, Route 22, to $196,000. Furthermore, a refund in the amount of $1,687.80 is authorized to be issued to the appropriate authority.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Martha, poll the council, please.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer,
Yes.
Councilman Turner,
yes,
Councilman Was.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 34, 2011. Jeff?
Having a vacancy in the position of Secretary to the Board of Health, this resolution will appoint Martha Lopez to that position at an annual stipend of $1,379.20. So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Poll the council.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer,
Yes.
Councilman Turner,
yes,
Councilman Was.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 35, 2011. Deanna?
Following the January 31st, 2011 retirement of tax assessor Eldo Magnani, this resolution will appoint Michael Frangillo as the new tax assessor for the Borough of Mountainside at an annual salary of $16,500 effective that date.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Poll the council.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer,
Yes.
Councilman Turner,
yes,
Councilman Was.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 36, 2011. Keith?
Resolution 36-2011, under NJSA 40A:11-4.1. This resolution will authorize the Police Department to purchase a new 2011 Ford Crown Victoria under New Jersey State contract. I believe that is not contact, Jim.
Contract,
Number
sorry.
A72467 from Winter Ford in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, in the amount of $28,208. We are not adding to the fleet. This is replacing a vehicle in the fleet. So moved.
Second.
Second. Poll the council.
Councilwoman Andre,
Yes.
Councilman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Messler,
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer,
Yes.
Councilman Turner,
Yes,
Councilman Was.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 37, 2011.
okay, here's another opportunity for the public, Resolution 37-2011, with no further public use, for a slightly used 2009 Ford Crown Victoria having only 71,702 miles. This resolution will authorize the Borough Clerk, Martha Lopez, to advertise this vehicle for auction. Anybody interested in this vehicle, just contact the borough, you pick up a bid package, and you too could own a used police car, an old police car. Seems to be in pretty good shape except for the motor. I don't know how important that part is, but
Doesn't run.
it doesn't run. So if you're interested, contact the borough.
We have a resolution, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Call the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Was?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 38, 2011. Glenn?
This resolution will authorize the borough to enter into a shared service agreement with the County of Union to utilize their printing and signage shop for various borough needs.
Second.
Call the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Was?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 39, 2011. Bob?
Having received a $50,000 grant from the state of New Jersey Direct Install Grant in conjunction with the federal government's Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant, this resolution will authorize the additional expenditure in the amount of $2,779.82 to complete the borough conservation project for 2010. So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Call the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Was?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 40, 2011.
This resolution will authorize the administrator of the Borough of Mountainside to apply for a 2011 Energy Efficient Conservation Block Grant and the New Jersey Direct Install Grant for the amount up to $250,000 for grant year 2011. So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Jim, do we already have what we're gonna use this money for? Is there a plan in place for that?
Mr. Mayor, the $50,000 that we received are for replacement of some lights to energy-efficient lights throughout the Borough Hall building. And for instance, some of the switches, they're going to change to the, what do they call them, Ron? Sensor switches, that the lights will go on and off automatically when people leave the room. Now, this new grant for 2011, for up to $250,000, we hope to replace our aging air conditioning systems throughout the
I thought we
building.
were replacing 2 units with the 50,000.
We are, 2 smaller units is part of the 50,000, as well as all the light features, and we hope to step up to, I think we have, 7 other air conditioning units that need replacement throughout the building.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Call the council, please.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Was?
Yes.
Next, we have first reading of ordinance 1183-2011 with no public input. Keith?
Ordinance 1183-2011 is an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 1.14, Sections A and B of the Code of the Borough of Mountainside, New Jersey, regarding membership fees for the use of the Mountainside Community Pool. So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Call the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Was?
Yes.
Next, we have first reading on ordinance 1184-2011, again with no public input. Deanna?
Yes, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1176-2010, fixing the salary ranges for certain municipal employees. So moved.
Got a second?
Second.
This ordinance is really just creating a new position of a salaried coach. It looks like now that we're gonna be taking over some of the sports programs from the, for the middle school, that we need to have this position in place. I guess we're gonna need it for, right now, the track coach. Is that correct, Frank? Yes. Call the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Was?
Yes.
Next, we have bills and claims. One,
Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the following bills of the persons named and for the amounts stated below having been duly audited and found to be correct this 18th day of January 2011, the same be paid after council's review if and when funds are available, and that the mayor, council president, administrator, and treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to sign and deliver warrants for same. Total $1,390,034.72.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Call the council.
Councilwoman Andre?
Yes.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Next, do we have any council comments? And we have any audience participation?
Hi, my name is Dr. Charles Pearl. I'll be a resident of Mountainside on April 1st, 35 years. And I have a problem with the plowing system. I live at Wyoming Drive, 1187, and when they come off a short drive, they dump short drive at the bottom of my driveway, which wasn't a problem when I was 27 years old and had two good knees, but is a problem at 62 with a replaced knee. So now I have to hire someone to plow my driveway if it's more than 6 or 7 inches, and inevitably have to pay them to come back and plow it. I called the borough after the last 7-inch snowstorm. Very nice woman had, is it Mr. Lomack? Come over and look, and he told me it was too bad. I thought that was an inappropriate response. Let me talk to the contractor, see if it could be dumped before your driveway, because there's about 50 feet if you come off the bend before you get to my driveway. But that's the breaks, too bad, I thought was an inappropriate response, and this is the second time I've been to the borough in 35 years. So even Chief Deputy was surprised to see me here today. So I just thought if I could talk to the contractor, maybe there's a way to come off the drive, pick up the plow, and then continue again. But I just thought, as a citizen, as a resident, and as chairman of the Political Action Committee for the Dental Association, knowing the game of politics, I thought it was appropriate for me to come and put it on the record. Thank you.
Jeannie Parker, 370 Rolling Rock Road. The solution maybe to his problem is, what can we do about the plowing guys? Because honestly, their disappointment, dissatisfaction, they're just not competent from what I can see. And I was surprised talking to one of you guys after the last big snowfall to hear that nobody complained, last year about it, because Mr. Mayor and Mr. Romack and I sat down because it was a disaster when they first took over last year. And they sat me down and they showed me the numbers, which I asked to see. And I know we have to take the lowest bid. And I see how much more the previous plower was costing than this one. But it seems to me that after a year, they would have their acts together and maybe, know the roads, because you and I discussed this, like, give them time to figure out the roads and that kind of thing. But after this past week wasn't bad, because we could have probably outdone that with our snow blowers, but that first big snow we had was a disaster. I mean, up where I live, it looked like a snowpocalypse up there. And to come down the hill, we came down the hill, and we get to Charles Street, and it's clear, and then, drove around, came over by you guys, we were driving the kids down to go sledding, and parts of it are clear, and parts of it aren't, but it would seem by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon that everybody would have some sort of way to get out of their neighborhoods. And the concern, one of the biggest concerns is, where I live, almost all of my neighbors are senior citizens, all of them.
What street is that?
Rolling Rock, so you've got like Ledgewood, Ledgewood, and some of them can't see, some of them can't hear. I mean, and it was literally up to, my knees, and it was drifting, and we got through because we have a 4-wheel drive car, but some of those older women are up there, and I'm thinking, what happens if an ambulance has to get through there? And I know, we have a 4-wheel drive police car that could maybe get up there, because once we went down the hill, we had trouble getting back up. And that's going to cost us, God, I don't know what that would cost if, God forbid, there was some kind of an emergency and we couldn't get to one of those older people. And, there's all kinds of catastrophic things that could happen, not to say that it would, but it seems to me that, especially by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when they knew that it was going to snow on Sunday night, that they'd at least have one way in and out of that whole section of town. Like, you couldn't, Springfield was plowed. That was the funniest part, is that little section of the road, they came up, and they were out there Sunday, like by 6 o'clock, doing that whole little back part over to Mountain Avenue. But by the time they got up to the top of the street, I mean, I think you guys were up, I think you came up.
Which storm?
The first one. The blizzard, yes. And I'm not, I'm not faulting you on this. It just seems that these guys don't have, either it's not big enough trucks, they don't have the manpower, they don't, I don't know what it is, but is there a way to reevaluate this company and maybe look at somebody else? I know how expensive the other company was, but, yeah.
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
we're looking at a storm. I mean, I agree with you that the town was
Yeah.
in not the best condition.
Right.
But also every other town around us was in about the same conditions we are. The
But we
storm
don't
got
live
away
there,
from-
Bob.
the storm- But I'm saying, that's what, but the storm got away from these guys. They
Yeah.
had the amount of vehicles, the same amount of vehicles we always have on the road. But when it's drifting, like you said, 2
Right.
feet, 3 feet,
Yeah,
they
it-
can't hit it. They can't be on your street every half hour.
No,
for
and it's
storm.
not just my
So,
street,
I know,
you
but it's the
know.
whole town. I agreed, and we had a lengthy conversation at the work session last
Yeah.
week with my dissatisfaction with the plow
Well-
company. But I think that storm is a 1 in 10-year storm or whatever, and it got out of control. And the wind and it was really there were definitely some negatives that.
It's
But-
maybe a 1 in 10-year storm, but the same thing happened twice last year out of the handful of storms we had. And granted, that was their first go-round. But when you have to pull in reserves to help you clean it up, how much more is that? Are we still saving all this money by not using the previous plowers? I mean, is there a way, do you have to hire these same people? Can you rebid the contract? Could you go to the Heckles and say, look, we can't afford what you were charging before, but could you make a deal with us?
We had
Or-
a 2-year contract, 1-year contract with the extension.
Yeah.
So we gave the extension. So that contract is up for bid again this year.
Are you guys looking at,
Anybody who's eligible to bid will be able to bid on it. and we'll
yeah,
decide,
and I
have
know
to
you have to
accept-
take the lowest bid, but it just
You have to
seems
take
to
the
me.
lowest
Lowest
responsible
qualified
bidder.
bidder.
Lowest responsible.
Right, like I can't come with a bunch of 12-year-olds and some shovels and say,
You have to-
give me 30
you have to-
grand and I'll do it.
If they're responsible, then
But-
we may consider it.
Right.
But they have to have a certain list of equipment that we have on a list. And if
Well, let me ask you this, are you satisfied with the way the streets, the way they're performing?
Let me just speak to that, just for a few minutes. We all were not pleased by the way the plowing was done at the first storm.
Right.
You have to understand that first storm was probably not a 10-year storm, it was probably a 30-year storm.
Yeah.
The snow was coming down anywhere from 2 to 3 inches an hour, and as the plows would go by and take it off the roads, the wind was just blowing it
Right.
back. The contractor had the number of trucks that they're required to have under the contract. Clearly, it wasn't enough.
Right.
The storm got away from them. We did try to bring in some additional help to
Yeah, I
help
saw you up there.
help
I
with
mean,
the
I know
roads.
you were driving around.
And there is a provision in the contract where we're permitted to do that, and if it costs us more, we can back charge the contractor.
I was gonna say, who
We
eats
were
that now?
also we were being called out by the state. We were digging out buses on Route 22.
Right.
We were also, digging out the Medical One garage over on Route 22 because nobody was keeping up with the storm.
Right.
There's a salt loader that's at the DOT
Right.
facility in the middle of 22, which was usually there, stationed there to put salt in, load the salt trucks. They pulled that out of there at one point because they were digging their own trucks out of places. I received several phone calls. I did pass on the information to Mr. Romack, and he responded to the areas that where there were severe problems. I believe Kings Court was a problem. And I think also Outlook East or West had not been plowed at all
Right.
And we were able to go out there and at least clear a path. The hills, Bel Air Court, Sunny Slope.
We should just
that
move
whole
down.
area, was problematic, and we know that.
Okay.
You also have to understand that there was a state of emergency that was on
Right.
during that whole period of time, and people shouldn't have even been out on the roads.
I get that, and
As far as whether or not we were prepared for either a fire or an ambulance,
Yeah.
there were trucks stationed here 24 hours in the event we had to get to a fire call, or we had to get to an ambulance call. So that was clearly covered. And fortunately, there were none during the height of the storm. After the storm, there were several meetings with the contractor to address some specific concerns that we had. We also consulted with Walter Heckel, who had the contract for a number of years. And quite frankly, 2 years ago, he had decided that he really did not want to continue plowing, and that's why we went out to bid at that time. I think there's a misconception that we somehow took the plowing contract away from Mr. Heckel. We did not do that. He had expressed a desire to not continue, and that's the specific reason why we went out to bid. We have discussed whether or not we're going to continue with this contractor. We've also discussed some contingency plans in the event we get another storm of the magnitude that we had. We've discussed them with the contractors. One of the problems was when he figured out that he needed more men.
they're stuck
he
in
couldn't
Bridgewater.
get the
Well,
men here.
that's the other thing.
Couldn't get the men here.
They're
So
far.
we've asked him to station additional equipment here, to have additional men on standby here for future storms. So we realized that, it wasn't the best job, but there's been a number of meetings with the contractor to try to improve that. Certainly at the end of this, of his contract, I believe that everyone's in concurrence that we're probably gonna go out to bid again. The problem with going out to bid is we do have to take the lowest responsible bidder.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, for, I wanna say 30 years, we had the Heckles that plowed the.
Well, you were spoiled
streets,
rotten, because
and
it
we-
just
and
looked
that's right,
like
we were-
Shangri-La, but,
Right, we were spoiled rotten. So we're certainly aware of the problem. We've had, like I said, a number of discussions. We spent a good portion of our work session last week discussing how the plowing was done. Certainly the last storm, granted, it was only 8 or
Right.
10 or 12 inches, I don't know. They seem to do a much better job. I know there was some, today we had some difficulties, it was only 1.5 inches of snow, but at some point, I know that they went out and wound up plowing the roads because we were concerned about the slush buildup,
Right.
especially on some of the side roads. So it's being monitored. We're not trying to save money at the expense of the safety of our residents.
no, and
We're
that's
trying
not
to
what
be-
I was insinuating.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
We're trying to be frugal, we're trying to be fiscally responsible, and we're also trying to make sure that the roads are in a condition so that it's safe for the citizen. So we hear what you're saying. You're not the first one to tell us
Well,
this.
when I heard that nobody said anything last year, and then people will sit there and lob their blind complaints on the internet, and then no one comes to
Well,
council meetings, so I figured at least if it's
we don't
on the
need to worry
record that,
about the
because if
blind
you want me to get an angry mob, you know, Paul, that I can go get one.
And listen, if they came here, I would tell them the same thing. I'm
Right, no,
telling
and
you.
it's,
We know that, that we know there were problems.
Yeah.
We're taking steps to address the problems, and that's really the best that we can do right now.
Okay.
So I think, at least in the next few storms, I'm sure that they'll do a better job. We're expecting them to.
okay, that's, yep, thanks.
Tuesday morning or Monday?
Paul, I just have I'm sorry, Gary.
Gary Cantagallo, Assistant Chief, Mountainside Volunteer Fire Department. I'd like to just give you a summary of last December. Number of calls that we had were 24. We also donated to the residents of Mountainside 285 man-hours, both responding to calls and work hour credits.
This is just December of 2010, correct?
Just December.
Okay.
Some of the incidents that we went to last December, we went to 4 carbon monoxide calls, we went to 7 false alarms, we went to 4 odors of smoke, 1 utility call, it was a down wire. We had 2 hazmat spills, 2 North Star landings, 2 calls to give aid to surrounding towns, 1 wildland fire, and 1 motor vehicle accident. And that's it. I just wanted to let you know what we did last month.
Thank you.
As always, Gary, we appreciate the service of the Mountainside Fire Department. I said it at the dinner the other night that this town is made what it is because of the volunteers, and you guys have probably the premier volunteer providing services to the community along with the rescue squad, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'd like to address the mayor and council, please.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know me quite well. I met with this gentleman, the dentist from Wyoming Drive. I want you to know that this is the sincere truth. What happened at his house was that the plows came to widen Wyoming Drive. In the process of widening Wyoming Drive, the snow plows push snow, as they do, off the edge of the blade along everybody's driveway on Wyoming, not just the doctor's driveway. At no time did I tell him tough. I unequivocally deny that. That is a mistruth, Doctor. Doctor, with all due respect, that is a mistruth.
I believe you, Ron.
Please, and I spoke with the doctor, I explained to him, I would love to open his driveway for him. We couldn't do it, Mayor and Council. Every driveway along Wyoming Drive had snow from the snow plowing in it. If we did one, we would have to do every single driveway. It's an impossibility. And I explained that to the doctor, and he seemed content at the time. We left on good terms. That's why I'm shocked to have him come back here and make the comments that he made to you, which are completely untrue and uncalled for. And I apologize that there was a misunderstanding, but it was very clear in my mind, I made very clear to you, Doctor, that I told you if I could do it for you, I would do it. Did I not say that to you, sir?
Yes, but that's what I said.
Thank you. I said if I could do it, I would.
Your exact words were, it's too bad, but that's the way.
It's unfortunate that the snow is in your driveway. You can't control
I have a
it.
different question. It
Yes.
wasn't a situation, though, where all the snow from Short Drive was.
Absolutely not, Mayor.
Because you and I discussed a similar situation.
Absolutely
to that,
not, Mayor.
Which the contractor came and corrected.
Absolutely not. And that's what I.
Fire council to come to my driveway.
And Mayor, that's why I went to the gentleman's house, to make sure that what he's suggesting to you happened, where the snow was plowed from Short Drive into his driveway, that would have been wrong. And if it had happened, then we would have opened his driveway. That's not what happened. He had already had his driveway plowed by his contractor, and he wanted us to reopen his driveway after we widened the street. We weren't done plowing. It's that simple. And he plowed his driveway before we were done plowing the streets. And we cannot open everybody's driveway after the plowing has been completed. We did not push snow. The contractor did not push snow into this gentleman's driveway. If it had happened, we would have cleared it. And I
can tell you when I got home tonight.
And I'd be happy to meet with the
there was
doctor.
There was snow in front of my driveway, which I'm
Yes.
probably gonna have to go out and.
3
shovel.
times I had to do my own driveway, and
So it happens to everyone.
it's a problem. And I got out of the truck to help some senior citizens with a shovel open their driveways up, just on my own. We do these kinds of things in this town. But I regret there's a misunderstanding here, but that not is all, what was represented to you is completely untrue and uncalled for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. Any other comments from council?
Excuse me? Shame. Are you my school teacher now? Shame on you?
All right, that's not appropriate in the public meeting, please. Okay, can we get a motion to adjourn? We have no executive tonight, is that correct?
No, we don't.
Okay. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.